Hi everyone. My name is Xael, and I'm actually one of the co-leaders, or what we call city co-leads, in Indigitous. My co-lead Aaron and I, we lead Indigitous Singapore, the local chapter of this movement of Christians who are looking to use our talents for God lah, and to advance His kingdom. Yeah. So in Indigitous, what we do is we mobilize a community of Christian brothers and sisters, and we usually run hackathons or events to bring them together to show them uh, sometimes digital missions, sometimes products that has a kingdom agenda or purpose, and then what we do best is to spark their interest to go deeper into the kingdom with their skills. Yeah. Before our time at DM360, besides having trouble to find a consistent space to use every time at an event, one huge challenge that we have is reaching out to people. We of course have our networks, we have our databases, we have our friends who are involved. But what we are doing perhaps is quite it's a new thing, I guess, to the kingdom. So our we feel that we are usually alone in what we are doing. So that was one key issue. And then the people that we draw, when they hear about us, they come, they join us, which is great. But we were limited to a small number. So that's one of the difficulties that we had before our time at PM360. I would say in the beginning, so we run a hashtag every year, once a year. That's the hackathon that I mentioned. In the first few years, I was involved in many years in different ways. And in the first few years, getting the venue was always a huge issue because we have to go and find the right place for the right budget. And um, usually it's you have to source around. Yeah. So that was one thing that we really had. And then every time we want to run an event, we were thankful that we do have brothers and sisters among us who can offer their spaces to us. Yeah. But then it was always like trying different places. I would say it really is the fellowship part of running. This is my fifth or sixth year now. Over the years, we have built a team of volunteers who just come back every year to be involved, and the time that we spend together is very enjoyable. It's always purposeful, but also the relationships are fun. With I mean, I guess we are like-minded in that sense. But also in the recent years, as we reach out to God and ask Him what do we really be focusing on. What we have found is an alignment towards digital missions. Yeah. So I think what's memorable then is both the relationship and also the shared purpose that God has given us. I was connected to SC by Simon. Simon is one of our Indigitous Global co-founders. At the time, DM360 was still pre-renovation, and they were thinking of repurposing the space for digital missions. So when I saw the space, that's when I saw SC as well. Yeah, and we talked at length about what the space can do for digital missions and communities around. Yeah, so that was how I got connected to the whole organization for the space. So we had our hashtag at DM360, I believe for the year of 2019. And it was really a great space. I I mean, I've been through so many hashtags throughout the years, right? I believe that particular year was the year that the community was really strong. We were mostly people who are new to each other, right? Hackathons, you bring together people. But because of how DM360 was structured, your level one with a canteen or cafe, and then your level two of an activity space, and your basement of working rooms and working teams. It was just so easy for relationships to be created because people are close to each other. Yeah, so that was our best hashtag ever. It was can really feel uh, the God spirit in the house lah, as we come together. And then we had moments where in a cafe, people from different teams they're just taking a break, right? But they had a chance to interact with each other. So out of that conversation, collaborations happen. Conversations that go beyond what we are doing also happened, and that was amazing. Previously in our other locations, right, people are a bit more spread out, or the location was quite kind of far from the train station, so they stay at home most of the time and collaborate over the net. But when we were at the M360, a lot of people stayed until quite late actually, and things just moved on. One of the things, and I mean, there are many reasons why we wanted to be part of the M360. Really, a lot of reasons. Besides to us, the M360 is like a co-working space, right? And co-working spaces, you get to meet people. Yeah, so that was one major draw factor. I think in the kind of work that we are doing, we really need to connect with the right kind of people, especially when it is a movement that's beginning to start, right? Yeah, so while we reach out to the greater, or rather the average Christians, we also want to know who is already involved in digital missions. In our case, we call them the missionpreneurs. People who are starting something, but they are starting on digital, and definitely it's either missioner or it has a missional angle to it. Being part of DM360 has opened a lot of partnerships in this manner. So I've been to a few DM community events in the last few months, and I also want to say that I deeply appreciate the work that SC, Lina, and their team is doing to bring the different partners together and perhaps to break the ice and to introduce each other to everyone, right? So the opportunity I saw in that was that in digitals we focus a lot on the average Christian, probably the people who are in the marketplace, but they just feel this desire to use their skill sets or their digital skill sets for something deeper. But at the same time, they might not necessarily have received the burden or the call from the Lord yet um, in, in, in starting something themselves. Yeah. So when I was there in a community event and as the partners share what they're doing, I just feel and I just wonder if we are able to help them to reach out to these average Christians. I mean, the everyday Christians, and yeah, spark something out of it. It could be getting the brothers and sisters involved in what they're doing. It can be helping them to spread the word. It can be finding their next co-founder or their next key hire, so to speak. Yeah. So these are some of the ways that we think that we can help. I think it is not very different from how you will start a circular startup in terms of focusing on the problem and its users first. In our experience, a lot of people they start with ideas and solutions rather than a problem. Yeah, so I will encourage brothers and sisters to start from the mission field perhaps and the people that they want to reach out to before they start thinking of what to do. But also the fact that what's different then from circular startups is that this is not uh, our business, right, or our organization, or our own idea and project. Actually, this is God's idea, God's startup, God's mission that we are then asked by Him to take over. So, uh, as one of our brothers in BM360 always says, right, if we involve Jesus as a co-founder in what we are doing, and if we do, then uh, everything will be clearer and easier.